We're back with my dually LS swap, and it runs. So now we gotta try to make it drive. Got, at least in theory, just a few things to do, but gotta get the fluids bled, drive shaft connected. So hopefully there's not too much more than that. Let's get started. So I gotta be able to get this thing in gear. I got the 94, so it's got a shift linkage, and it looks like a lot of people are sort of closing this bend in order for it to not be way too long. I guess I gotta either do that or cut and weld to shorten it. That's the first thing I gotta do here. Got my poorly modified shift lever. The engine should be connected to the rear end now. Drive shaft is in. Hopefully my double slip yoke situation doesn't cause me any problems. Got a slightly more intact grill than the one that was on the truck before the swap, so I'm gonna move the lights over and install that. Well, I'm trying to bleed the coolant and trans and everything. Not sure what happened here, but it's not a good sign for my accessory belt drive system. Well, honestly, this thing's been kicking my butt. Fought a misfire that was some damaged coil wires. Then I plugged that coil harness in backwards and fought with that, not realizing what it was. Finally gave up on my belt system. I'm back to the Silverado, basically just running no AC at this point. I think what was happening is that belt was still touching at the water pump, but figure that out later. Now the coolant system isn't bleeding, and the people that tell you to fill the engine from the top are probably right, because I disconnected this and it is dry even though the top of the radiator is full. So see if I can fill the engine from up here. Well, apparently the engine's been dry the whole time. So the truck seems to be bled mostly and moves under its own power. Still running really crappy. It seems like I've got a wiring issue with the injectors, but I'm gonna see if I can get this around the corner to my dad's shop and put an exhaust together. my dad's shop. This thing's super sketchy to put on a lift. So, clearly it made it here. Camera fell off the tripod as soon as I started driving. It's only a few hundred yards, but transmission still feels sluggish, like it doesn't have enough fluid. I'll never figure out how to fill automatic transmissions. So the game plan now, even though again, still getting some kind of injection circuit code. It's a P0200, something in the wiring or a bad injector. I haven't diagnosed it, but it's not fun diagnosing this thing with open headers, so I'm gonna try putting exhaust in here. Game plan is I have this full 4-inch straight pipe exhaust from the diesel. I'm just gonna leave that. That's good enough for me for now. Obviously I got the stock headers and the 4-inch diesel exhaust here. I'm gonna try use the parts that I scavenged from the parts truck to make a Y pipe and hopefully have a relatively functional exhaust. It'll be straight piped now. I doubt that I'm gonna enjoy that, but at least the straight pipe will be exiting 20 feet behind me instead of right under my feet. First thing I'm gonna do is remove that thing and throw it in the strap. So I really don't have a ton of space in here, and I want to get a V-band in between the Y pipe and the headers. So my plan is to use the diesel necked down to 3.5 for the down pipe. The parts truck had a 3.5 tip on a 3-inch exhaust, so I've got this 3.5 to 3-inch transition, and then I want to get the Y pipe in here with enough room to make the connection to the passenger side header, but I gotta fit a V-band on that little chunk of 3-inch in between the Y pipe and the transition. I think I'm just gonna cut this and put the V-band right in there. Hopefully that will work out. Got my Amazon V-band, chopped up the Y pipe, and this is about where I'm thinking I'm gonna put it. Should be able to come up to the passenger side and sneak under the bell housing for the driver side. Driver side and crossover is tacked in. Pretty happy with that. I don't love being that close to the transmission pan, but My Silverado has the same thing going on. I know the stock one, the oil drain spilled right on the crossover pipe, so I didn't want to do that. Now I just got this short section from the Y pipe to the passenger side. I think I'm all out of bends. Well, there's the Y pipe. Clearly not the best work that's ever been done. Got some huge gaps that I'm gonna have to patch, but it should do the job. Sound a little bit better. Still sounds bad because it's not running right, but try to get it out of my dad's shop, I guess. Well, honestly, this video is pretty disappointing. I thought I was gonna get it running and back on the road, working AC, all the things. Obviously, we're not in AC weather, but still not running right. Got some kind of wiring issue or injector issue I'm gonna have to diagnose. It looked like I was leaking coolant when I pulled out, so awesome. But it's got an exhaust, it runs and drives a short distance anyway. I just don't want to drive it with whatever is going on with the bad idle, and I can't tell if it's running super rich. Something's up with the injectors, so hopefully the next one is this thing driving right once I hunt down that issue. Otherwise, I got a daily that also is needing lots of work, and we'll see whatever I can get to next.